How are you? We're just getting started. Pola pola. A lot is happening, but I think, there's those moments you just have to step back and observe and understand and reflect. For me, it has been one of those days I had to first read everyone's tweet, minus me tweeting or, getting very active, just reading. A lot is happening. Yeah. Vibe kweli, twakatandika. I tell you where we are right now. It's not for the weak. It's for people who have minds. The weak will just be destroyed easily. So, yo.
Kituufu bannange.
Mm.
Waliwo olwogamba otunulira Uganda olaba buli kimu kiringa ekiri upside down ate nekikuleeta enyiike nti abamu waliwo abatamanyi nti ddala wadde kikigenda mu maaso kubanga nze siri Uganda ndi eno mpangaalira wano Bungereza naye waliwo munnange yagenze Uganda amazeeyo ndowooza omwezi nga mulamba naye abaddeko mukyalo eyo mu bakadde kikwewuunyisa nti ali so cut off talina kyamanyi yayogeddeko nange naŋŋamba nawulidde ebisaaniko byakubya abantu nze wawulidde eti fenga twabiraba nga byakagwawo nagamba nze mbadde nakabitegeera kati neewuunya Uganda naye ng'ate wano buli kimu ekiba kibaddewo ali very 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 active ku mawulire gonna agabeera Uganda kwega n'olabira ddala nti it's a divided country tulinga abali mu Titanic waliwo abazina waliwo abakaaba tugamba it's kind of sad. Sirina nnyo bingi byakwogera bwe ndaba abantu nga bakuŋŋaanya obusinzija nange njagala okuwuliriza era n'okubeera nga tugenda mu maaso okugenda ku mitimbagano okulaba ki ekigenda mu maaso ati wuyo tuwulidde oyo omukyala imagine tulina bangi abalinga oyo awe Canada nga they are not serving Ugandans they are serving abatunyigiriza kati ne weebuuza nti era kyokutolaba mu Middle East babaddeyo nnyo abaana nga tebalina buyambi nga tebasobola genda ku embassy ne babayamba neekubakuba nti bagala kuddaka kati you imagine such a woman aba agenda kuyamba ati ng'eyo endowooza ye nange byebyo ndowooza ffenna tunyumye kabeere kasaavu kanyama ayagala okuyisaba eddoboozi ayiseewo siina nnyo kyamaanyi wabula okubeerawo nga mpuliriza ebirowoozo by'abalala n'okwongera okulwana obutaggwamu maanyi kubanga ebitusoomooza byo bingi mu nsi yaffe Uganda byebyo.
Webale nnyo bambi. Naija, webale nnyo. I think the Chendaba personally, we are winning. we are winning in so many ways that we even don't know. So, njagadde nnyo naye oyogedde eddoboozi liri wansi olinga aweddemu amaanyi. One of vibe yakatandika. I've been laid back people. These few days I've been just laid back. I've been on this phase of Madame Stella with Eva. Nebagambako kintu kyo relax yourself, but strategically. You can relax, but you're reading a book. You can relax, not forgetting the cause. So, nange baddeyo nalabye bingi ebigenda ku internet. First of all, personally, I am not someone who needs any accountability as of now. I don't need any accountability. So it was byabadde bizimba also another kind of topic that was important. But sorry to even use the word it was because I think the thing of accountability is okay when people need it. Now, there were a lot of efforts, also a few opportunities to misuse that. And I took advantage of it. I kept quiet, then I saw what people are saying, but I'm very happy to say that amidst it all, Ugandans are really, 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 really committed to put something different. We don't deserve whatever is happening. I'm very happy that also there are different voices. I am someone who wants to say, I want this, I need that in this fight against corruption and the corrupt system. But as long as it is something that it is pushing towards that direction of fighting the corrupt, I am happy to be part of it. So maybe yakatandika in a night shift, I have been there, I've been feeling, I've been relaxing, but I must say, ever since I heard a story from our brother, Omunyarwanda wa Bobby, that guy, is it Mayega Ronald? It was, where wajiwulira story.
Nagiwulira ate si esoose mukwano mpulidde stories
naye
olafanyibwa eddoboozi lino lyenjogeza ndi mu ofiisi ndi ku mulimu kati mbasobola kugeza vibe entuufu naye nga ebintu ebyo nno bannange bizze bibeerawo ku baana bizze bibeerawo ku bantu bangi nnyo naye ekizibu kye tulina e Uganda era simanyi bwe tujja kukyovakaminga naye mpola mpola tujja nti bwe baba bamenyera omuntu ennyumba gwe bw'oba omuliko meters oba miles nga 10 tofaayo na kumanya lwaki ennyumba eyo bagimenye abakaba obayitako buyisi kwegamba tuli nnyo nti ekintu ky'okuba nti omuntu omulala ekintu ekiba kimutuuseeko abalala basirika ekintu ekyo kireetedde nnyo omuze gw'okubanga bannayuganda batulugunya okukulira lino ddala kubanga ekintu ky'okubeera nga bawamba abaana abalenzi ne bakozesa mu ngeri eyo n'abawala bibaddewo ku mawulire
wasuka ku bawala kiyitirira because
exactly.
yeah, that's for sure. Kubalenzi maybe, yeah, it is really something that I've also started hearing of late, but I've also read about it in books. Now, yeah, lately it's very close that people are personally, I was really disturbed by that incident, and I'm still disturbed. But away from that, welcome guys to the night shift. Wewe mganda wa Niger, therefore, we shall keep on interacting for now. Mute your microphone. Ashraf, Hector, how are you, bro? Muji Martin, Big Bamba, Sonia, Banange, Memoriba, regular one. So this is the Nabadayom Kamori. Some things are necessary. We need to first of all understand when all of us are at the front line, some of us need to retreat and first take a study, take a tour, and chill, so that when others are tired, we check in. These few days, maybe go on Poli because I think putting up a hand, you have something you need to say. Get a muscle Poli.
Bambi, webale nnyo kumpita ku night shift naye mbadde ngenda kukola ki kuwummuza ngalabi yange omanyi sigundi ki it helps relaxing a good time no soka n'okola ki brain no recharging naye nga webale nnyo holding this space kyembadde njagala okuyisaawo ebibala tubiraba abantu abamu batandise obba mu mavisa mpuuga nazo ziyingidde nono omukyala yatulyamu olukwani Veronica yani Veronica Obani yajjayo signature ya signing a sent motion
namulabako Veronica
oyo naye ziyingidde babamye visa baninze
kulindako kikyogamba baani aba sokozeeyo emboozi eyo katono ani gwe babawadde visa ani gwe
babamye visa ya US ne Canada mye mpuuga Veronica mye ebibala bitandise
bannange Mugisha
wa Canada naye kawedde mudda
Mugisha ngenda kujja Mugisha ngenda kujja actually no space yakatandika Joe I know Joe I'm going to come to you but just put down your hand Joe I'm coming to you pole again go on please
nkugambe this day no lunaku lutukoledde bulungi nnyo kubanga tulabye nnyo ebibala kakati oyo mukyala wa Canada oyo naye twamumaze kakati n'empuuga visa mye Veronica visa mye ne Hildaman visa mye kakati
ne Hildaman
Hildaman ya corrupting sente ezaba musician buli omu atukyankalanye ajjo nawawe kuba nyondo kati enyondo tugiddeyo Museveni yakuba Uganda obunyondo ku mutwe nga baganya omweyunga kati bano abajja mu nawawe tudde nyondera Mugisha
kati gwe kankubuuze pole let me ask you gwe mundaba yo how do you see what are some of the wins what are some of the things you can say so far we have seen this and this happening in this fight against corruption and the corrupt people
nze kyendaba gundi win yaffe eri wano in fact ntino ki Museveni yatuwoninga nti tetugenda ku street naye bannayuganda bali patriotic abaana abato ne bagenda ku street ne batamamba that was a win ate nejjo was it on Thursday ne tubakuba hands abaana bagenze ne ba striking from nowhere so it's a win
Museveni I loved that thing by the way abantu bakiwadde nnyo attention era twabadde oba ku face yani yesterday I think it was good girl
ya Florence twabadde ku ya Florence ya self love
yeah but the people were not really giving it the attention it deserved
so eyo win ate nekirala kino tulemeddeko Museveni yeye yali alowooza nti ajja kuzoganya no spaces azijjeko naye bambi mukoze omulimu azijjako we muzizaawo abaana bagirizira this time around bannayuganda tuli united sijja balimba tuli united on this noble cause so kati Museveni kimukuba wala naye nga era bwe twayogera amaanyi fe gali mu bantu fe tulina amaanyi bano abantu tubasinza amaanyi bwe tubanga tuyunitinze tubasinza amaanyi kakati abamu bapowa abalala ne bazuukuka nze ekyansanyusiza ekya
olazeewa ate where you at
Holly, you've disappeared. All right, people. Welcome to the night shift. A different kind of space, you know.
Otherwise, simanyi ono alikuwa accident. Naye nga thank you very much. Kamba ulivizeeko wano katono mpulire submissions za Joe ne Mugi nga sinabagenda kwebaka. Otherwise,
Okay.
musule buli.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. On that note, let's go to Joe and then Mugi.
Thank you very much, comrades, for organizing this Twitter space. Thank you, speakers and listeners. Yeah, I think we, if you've understood what is happening, and if you've analyzed, this has been, we can say low-key activity, but high impact. The impact is high, and it continues actually to unfold. I could compare it to bread. When you bake bread, it's unleavened. When you leaven the bread, you put in yeast. It rises and you may not see, but if you give it 10 hours, you come back, the loaf is as leavened, has grown up. So this is precisely what is happening. Let's begin what has just happened in Canada. You may not have, you might not all be up to speed, but the Ugandan High Commissioner to Ambassador, that is Ruth Acheng. She's been granted persona non grata status. Effectively, diplomatic terms, that means she's not welcome to Canada anymore, and as a matter of fact, she's going to be deported. And I think this is partly because of our activism that has been that has spread across the world. It's not just in Uganda. So we are seeing the results of this back home. This is very important. One, we've achieved unity. Unprecedented. It has never happened before. And this was shown on the 23rd of July, when we came together, first of all, as activists, as protesters. That was one. The first responders, if we're talking about doctors, if we're talking about lawyers, we've never seen such a big team of lawyers coming together to respond to an emergency. Now, that level of unity had never been achieved before. And of course, the dictator is trying to drive a wedge, using different means and using different means and different agents to divide a wedge through this unity. But we refuse, and I think we continue to remain united. Let's remain focused. I know money is always a divisive subject. It was causing cracks in the movement, but I think somehow we've been able to contain that. Issues of accountability are very, very important. Do not make a mistake about it, especially when you're dealing with public money, public funds. However, that should not be a reason for us to tear one another, especially, I think, when the objectives around public funding are not very clear. And I think we need to educate some people who genuinely have needs, but that money is for specific purposes. It is for legal aid and other activities that will enhance the protests. And we got a long way, ladies and gentlemen. It is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So we've hardly started. So any money that is in the bag will be needed. Maybe in the long run, there could be provisions again to address other needs. And as the struggle protracts, as the struggle goes on, we might find somebody's maybe, is away from his home for a couple of months. And therefore, I think that is when there could be a need for okay, I've been inside. How do I pay my rent? I'm going to be evicted. I have a family, and maybe that is when we can look at that. And hopefully by then we shall have mobilized, more funds. So let's not be distracted. Let's remain focused. What is our mission? To march to Parliament. Our mission is to cause Anita Among to resign. This lady is so defiant, ladies and gentlemen. As we are protesting, she's still lavishly splashing money. She's doling out money. Just yesterday, she went to a Muslim group where she gave out 100 million. As we speak, as we are grappling with the problem of medical interns not being deployed because they are saying there is no money. So if they cannot find money for medical interns, they should not be able to have money to throw to people who are building mosques. Mosques can always be built in time. There is no urgency. It is not important. It's not very important and it's not very urgent that a mosque must be built this week or next month. So that is money that could have been put towards helping, to deploy interns. So I think that is what has been achieved. Secondly, we've been able to set the agenda. Remember, before that, Parliament was very dismissive about corruption. And Anita Among in particular was saying, these are rumors. I cannot address rumors on social media. But right now, we've been able to put this on the agenda. So we are setting the political agenda. And this is very, very important. And they're all competing. Dictator Museveni and the members of parliament, they are competing to see who best addresses this problem. Much as we know that they do not mean business. They don't have any political will to address this problem, but we have them where we want them to be. I think that we've exposed their rot in the police. We've exposed their rot in the judiciary. We've exposed their rot in the prisons. And I think we actually right now the judiciary is on trial. And I think we are going to see some results going forward. Some of these people are going to behave. Firstly, we've been able to mobilize the international community, public opinion, as far as the international community is concerned. And I really think the fact that the government of Canada has responded is partly because of their activism, which is local, as well as that in the diaspora. And we continue to be very, very strong. We are making waves. So no one should discourage you. Actually, we should be very, very proud. We've achieved that no opposition, that no group has ever achieved. And this is in a short space of time. So we remain very, very strong. And I think let's build on this momentum. I agree. In the past weeks, I think there's been a bit of lack of coordination. We're not exactly where we should be, but we've not lost. We've not lost the momentum. We remain strong. Going forward, what needs to be done? I think now let's get back to the drawing table. I'm happy that I think we've paused the protests, and partly because we were not really making an impact. So strategically, I think it's a good decision. Right now, let's continue to educate the people using the different means, using flyers, using placards, using audios to speak to the people in our languages, vernaculars, and explain what corruption is in relatable terms. And this is something that we must undertake across the country, such that everybody begins to engage and everybody is part of this activity next time we call for action. So we've not stopped. And I think to keep these people busy, we could carry on with some low-key activities like flash mobs. What are flash mobs? Flash mobs, we can decide that we are showing up in Wandegeya today or tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So people, we show up, we protest, and then we disappear. What is good about this? We minimize the risk of being arrested. Being arrested has its own implications and has its own challenges. So I think these are some of the things we could do. We spoke about having daily protests, ladies and gentlemen, at 1 o'clock. When we blow our whistles, we blow our vuvuzelas, no one is going to arrest you. You do that in the comfort of your shop, your home, your office. If you're driving, you hoot on the road. So these are things that we can continue to do. Let's reach out to the different groups. We want bloggers involved. We want musicians involved. We want students, particularly students. Students are always the vanguard. And right now, I think they are back to the campuses, and let's engage them across the country. These are always game changers, ladies and gentlemen. Once we have students on board, the outcome is going to be different. Let's reach out to the ghettos. Let's reach out to the different groups. The good thing, traders are on board. Medical interns, I know they're desperately trying to meet the dictator. They will not achieve anything.
Joe,
Yes, comrade. Yes.
allow me to interject you there on the issue of students.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
You see, the system of education in itself is galvanized by this lady Janet, Museveni's wife, right? So, university to secondary, all these institutions are controlled, and I remember particularly on, I think it was Stop ECOP campaign, they used students to protest back against the Stop ECOP campaign. They used students, so it shows you how much they control education. So I wanted to know, when you talk of students, first of all, which group are you targeting? I mean, it should target the whole education system, but we know that the whole education system is controlled. But there are some defiant groups. We know universities are defiant. People who are enlightened about corruption. I think most of the students have, if I may say, S4 going on. However, there is the way the government and the system, or I would not say the government, or the regime has its hands in these systems that sometimes they crack down. So how would you want these people to also come on board? Like, which group are you speaking about specifically, and how would you expect them to incorporate? Because, like I've told you, they are controlled also, just like the majority of the institutions we know. I don't know if I make sense.
Yes, you make sense. And you ask a very good question, as a matter of fact. So here's the thing. I think first we're targeting the tertiary institutions, that is post-secondary institutions. So we're looking at colleges, we're looking at universities in particular. They are more independent, they're more critical thinkers, and and many of them are aware of the issues. So we don't need to preach to the converted. It's just, I think, preaching the message, reaching out strategically, reaching out to the leaders, student leaders, for example, influencers, for example, reaching out to the bloggers, for example, and they've got media, I think campus media, that could be a way of mobilizing. That is in the short run. In the long run, what happens when these people are mobilized, what happens when they're on the street, the rest will just follow. The rest will just easily follow. And I think when they all see where the wave is, where the wind is blowing, where the wave is taking us, I think the rest, whether the teachers, whether, all these other groups that are still sitting on the fence, they will just definitely defect, or join us for that matter. So I think that could be the strategy. And I agree with you. Penetrating senior secondary schools is a little bit tricky, is a little bit hard. But once we get the ones in the tertiary institutions, the rest will just, everybody's sitting and waiting. If Museveni doesn't know, he's sitting on a time bomb. So all these events that are happening, whether in Kitezi, whether in Lubisi, all these events are just helping to catalyze a process that has already started. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think not to speak too long, let me just summarize. So, going forward, let's broaden the coalitions. Let's spread this across the country. Next time, we don't want action to be centered around Kampala, because that makes it even easy for us to be contained. So, the more we spread we shift the center of gravity to the regions, the harder it's going to be for them. And going forward, let's keep these people busy. Mobilizing and deploying costs a lot of money. And we know this government does not have the money. They cannot go. They are not going to be able to go this marathon for 3-4 months. And that is, so we're in for a long run. That should be the strategy. Do not be discouraged. Please continue to speak. And each one of us can mobilize our people where we come from, in the neighborhoods, in the families, communities where we are. Let's continue. Ladies and gentlemen, I yield the mic. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Sheshe, personally, I'm happy to see you on this space, but also I'm very disheartened with what you're going through. We stand with you in solidarity. Just kwemanya muganda wange. Whatever you need, we stand with you in solidarity. Tebakutisa tisa. I'm very happy to see you. Naye, I've been following your case, and ndaba kamanyiro kenyini kebakuletako. We are with you, and we are in people's DMs. Please make sure. Thank God you're here. Take up the mic. I'm very happy to see you. Onyango, what's up, bro? Thank you, Onyango. I've been very motivated to always hear you speak on other people's spaces. Always on point, my brother. Muj Martin, we are going to come to you, brother. Unless you have a question, Naye, I want to briefly give Mugisha the mic. Naye, I want to hear from Sheshe, because Sagana maybe Wanza Musarako network. So, Martin, we are going to come to you, brother. Mugisha, oyagala kwogera kati oba Sheshe asoka amalirize?
Don't you be session demand. Yes, I use soka nayo. It's no problem.
Webalenyo. So that's a gentleman. It was yagonze no gone. Sheshe, please, the mic is yours. Yogera konafe.
Good evening, guys. How are you doing? Am I audible?
You're audible na like you're breaking a little bit na nkuwulira. People can hear you.
Network.
Chimanyi otadeko ka VPN. Yeah? Did you put some VPN?
No.
You should always put
I can hear. My phone is like this because when I drop, I'll join again.
Okay, I think Sheshe, you're breaking so much, but I would advise you put on your VPN and then you join these spaces. Always put on your VPN, and if you need help with that, we can help you. That's the only way you'll have good conversations, and maybe we shall have better means. Naibambi, what you're going through is very, very unfortunate. Nayenze, it just gives me solidarity. It gives me strength to fight on, because things like this just piss me off. And I don't want to fight anybody, but that anger is my fuel. Maybe I was going to take 20 years fighting corruption, but now I'm ready to take even 50 years of fighting corruption. If that is what corruption is. From RIP to Chitezi people, I've been silent, people. I've been silent. Mugisha, first speak to us, brother. Nze sinatandika. Still warming up.
Je muri baganda bange.
Jetuli Sebo, how are you, brother? Share the space, guys.
I'm fine and doing great. njagala kwebaza buli muntu naddala cause I brought up the issue of Sheshe nga tuli ku space, if you remember. There and then Dr. Sarah Navayo, Bakanso Aaron and other people who gave support to her. Bano abasajja kati bawulira kubaleekaanira, twabaleekaanidde mu matu and in the long run ne bamukubira essimu ne bamugamba jjako siiru abantu batuli bubi. So I want to tell you bano tebajja kusobola, tuyina data, tuyina n'amasimu ate tuyina ne VPN. So I want to thank everyone for the job well done. Because in
kyogamba bajjeko siiru
bamukubidde essimu ne bamugamba gijjeeko. You know, so it was Council Aaron abaddewo wabiyingiddemu okwaddeyo akasekiwalinga beli abaganda bafe ababiri be baakwata ndowooza mulaba bye tutuuseeko nti abaana ababiri be baakwata nga bademonstratinga ku street ku Thursday tebabatwala mu kooti wabula they just held them at CPS. They never tortured them for 2 days. Mwaddemu omukono gwa Anita Amongi biki naye enduulu neera ne enduulu ne babata ku police bond today. So it shows that we have an upper hand in this right now, and we have to remain on course. And on the other hand side, ebya sente bingi bye tutegedde ebituyamba okweteekateeka for the 28th, for the Gajja, and for 9th October. For example, tutegedde bantu kyabalina ffe n'abantu kyabatali naffe. For example, mbaddeko mu space ya Natif, umanyire eyo gyenzungira nzunga nninga measles. Mbaddeko mu space ya Natif eyo ng'ali mu kwogera kafunkunaale ne mubuuza ekibuuzo ne mugamba si tukimanyi nti ennaku zino gavumenti ya Museveni eteekawo obukookolo bw'abantu abeefuula ba activist. Ne mubuuza kati obwo obukookolo tubutegeera tutya? Ekibuuzo kyange nfuddeyo takizzeemu wabula ate ye kennyini ate ye yeekubye nga like n'agamba ekizibu munvunaana nti amwe sell out but our organization is not a sell out ne banzijako microphone. Badde yagala muga ekibuuzo kyange kibadde kiganga gwe mu aba activist tutegeera tutya ba activist abatuliddemu akanaana. Ye n'amaliriza ng'agambye nti tugambye nti nno yeetunda. Era mu space yemu eyo ne wavaayo Natifu n'agamba nga bw'amanyi obulungi things omanyi nze sikyatya njogera amanya nobody gambayo nobody dogoda. So ayogera nga ye bw'amanyi things okumala ebbanga ddene era ebya safe corridor nga bwe yasooka bigamba things ate things n'amuwa amasimu g'abalala ate ne beewa the thumbs up. So abantu abamu kyenjagala mumanye mwabalemesa ebifo abamu kyali baagala kasente abamu ebibaasa bibalakidde bavuddeyo nga bagambye nti ne Wannakalema yabawa ebbaasa ng'eriko government of Uganda naye ng'erimu 5,000 gya transport. So I'm sorry I'm just giving a recap of how the day was, and we saw the other woman of Canada naye nga bamukutte obunyuma. What I say when I say person non grata, we people who study international relations and diplomacy, it means nti oyo omuntu takkirizibwa kulinnya yadde kukola business yadde kugenda for holiday yadde kukola kiso obunyuma bwe n'obw'abantu bwe bugobeddwa emisinde giri gy'otalabanga. That is what we mean in international relations and diplomacy when we say that someone is granted non grata on the soil of Canada. It shows that the impunity of Mr. Museveni and his people is no longer working anywhere. So ebintu ebisinga bijjanga ebintu ebitategeerekeka ebintu ebitali naye nga bibeera bituyamba. Some things come in a way. Tufunye ba political apologists bangi bavuddeyo abaali batwetabiseemu tubategedde. So I think omukyera at least ko tugusensudde. Abakiga ne bateera bakiyita batyo okuba omuwemba. Mwaba muliyo omuwemba tumaze okugusunsula, tumaze okugyamu omuwemba omutuufu n'obuyinja ne buvaamu. Muyinza okuba mukyalimu obuyinja, but I want to assure you that next time if we will hit them harder. And another thing, yesterday you saw our brothers and sisters who went on streets to go to the parliament. Baade balina baana nga mplinting bulungi ekitegeeza bazikubira ku nassa nga mplinting nga sina bote bakozeseza na manila paper.
aba abaana bankoledde olunaku muganda wange nze when I saw that every other thing was sagala gamba bogus because it was necessary naye waliwo abadde baleeta ebibozibozi yawo naye when I saw that moment I was like wow.
Naturally these guys operated on our days. The twagamba nti Tuesday, Thursday, what does it show you? These people are on our script and they are following the plans that we have been putting in place.
But these are their plans as well.
Yeah, so it means that we are doing something behind the curtain there.
Leaderless.
And I'm telling you, Gajja is coming.
First tell me, what is Gajja?
No.
What is Gajja?
Nanyini Gajja bajja kumala kumpalukisa we bali wa.
Nze nazukka lumu nsanga Gajja. I was like Gajambula, Gajja. But I was like no, this is something serious.
Gajja tugenda Gajambula abantu. Ate next week again you're going to see another thing next week era mulindirire sigera bagamba lunaku ki mugenda kulaba ebyamagero ebirala abasajja bagenda kuli ice cream n'ekirala kugajja temanyi tugenda kunywa amata bwekyo kyoba omanya bring back our people nga kuliko n'omuzigo
wamma kyoba olaba leero nalabye ente mu town ente zaaluddewo dda.
So my dear brothers and sisters, when I'm delivering, sometimes I try to be hilarious, but the issue is serious. I want to tell you the issue is very serious. Uganda really needs to be awakened because we are down. We are in trash. In the morning nabagambye twayogerako campaign okubawunyirira ne twogera ku kyokutwala kasasiro njagala bategeeza nti weapons of mass destruction ziri ku street tebalina gye bazitwala so kati tuba twetaaga okuŋŋaanya ezo weapons for further use. Let's take that chance. Tulabe engeri gye tukuŋŋaanyaamu AK-47 ezo ez'akasasiro n'ebirala ebifaanana bityo. Onyango yatuwa program ennungi tugenda kukuba ettendo Sitaani Anita Amongi tugenda mulinyirira tugenda kuyita omwoyo omutukuvu anaaze parliament as we prepare for 9th October. I saw the graphics of 9th October and I want to give you the notch of 9th October, people who are here, if you allow me to, and that will be the end of my submission.
Please go on.
9th of October, we thought about it as a significant day of our country, a day when Uganda was liberated, a day when constitutionalism should be upheld, a day for a citizen of Uganda, regardless of the class, regardless of anything. And we know on that day, Museveni amanyi okuyita abantu be n'ababbi banne ne bakuŋŋaana mu kifo ekimu abamu ne balya emicomo amaguma ne bagakasukira ababa basigadde ne balwanira omuceere. And we know on that day if we can galvanize the number abefuula nti opposition nti ate mbadde nena government business, on that day teba government business, on that day it's a public holiday abasawo tebakola, on that day there is no office that works. Ekitegeeza bati balina bye bagenda kwekwasa nti tubadde tukola kino. On that day bw'oba oyiseeko mu kibuga street ezisinga ziba nkalu, ekitegeeza bati balina kye bagenda kwekwasa nga bannatiifu badde bagamba nti safe corridor baali baagala tugende ku kisaawe kya poliisi twogerere eyo tuyite ku mukwano nga twetooloola ate nga tugenda kuba tutawaanya traffic. Ne bagamba nti ffe kye twali tusaba okuva ku railway tusale mu busazi nga tugenda ku parliament ate kyekyali ekibi, and you see a myopical thinking, a toilet thinking, a stupid thinking and things of that sort. So on 9th of October, it means if we plan very well, by the significance of the day, we can cover the news of these people who will be celebrating their route somewhere there, wherever they will be celebrating. That will be number one achievement, because the whole world will be like Uganda has been celebrating independence, whereby young people have been demonstrating because of the disservice that is taking place in the country. On that long run, abagenyi baba bagenda okubanga bazze tugenda kubanga already tumaze okubaswaza nti bano babbi omubbi abakyazizza n'ekirala ku lunaku olwo bamanyi okuteeka bufulaga ku makubo kijjayo bulungi ekifaananyi kyaffe nti naffe tuli bannayuganda, we are celebrating, we are marching because of independence, and we are independent. We need to be looked at as citizens of Uganda. N'obutungulu bwe tuyinza okwongeramu obungi ennyo okulaba nti nno samuli abamungi tulyenga bwe tuwuuta. So, my dear brothers and Ugandans, that's a little thing I can tell you about the 9th of October and how best we can utilize that day to our advantage, because I believe we are not stopping. We are going on and on and on and on. Fabamu amaloboozi gaffe tebatumanyi face naye amaloboozi bagali codinga kirayi kaffe banatukwata bajja kusooka bateekeko amaloboozi nga 10 yogera bagambe ye bagaliddamu oyogere mbagambe bwabwabwayi bagaliddamu oyogere mbagambe ayesaya. So tulina okubeera nga tuli steady, tulina okubeera nga we can act. Joe, thank you very much for the work well done. Bebamye visa bebale zibamma era bangi bakyazibamma n'ekirala Uganda yaffe ffenna nsikipinze ekyomukiteezi olw'ensonga ekyo ky'obuli omu akimanyi bya nnaku bya mpuna, naye abo be bantu betulina bajja kulya kusaanyaawo. Sitaani yajja okuzikiriza okusaanyaawo n'okwonoona yakulembera eggwanga. So obwana bwe busitaani obuto bubeera bukaabira bamawanda bambi mu mute olw'ensonga tubba naye switi bwe tugenda ku dduuka nze amulagira okubba n'ateeka mu nsawo taata sitaani saasira sitaani muto munnange. So that's the country we are in, country of jackals, country of thieves, country of ruthless leaders, country of people who are not citizens of the country but hijacked the country on the way. So we should just galvanize energy and see that we can deliver. Otherwise, sijja kusukka waawo United yegugobyemu 0, aba United mwebale goba mupiira fabaase n'obusungu bututta, but tetulina kyakola tujja guma. Thank you very much. Back to you, bring back our people.
Webale nnyo muganda waffe United, abagira United ennaku zino abeera ku drip buli kaseera bunkenge. Sheshe, are you back? Are you on VPN? I should have called this VPN conversations. Sheshe, are you there, dear? Hey,
Yeah.
oli kiriya nnyo ogenda mu maaso sabula. Soko olutu.
I hope you're hearing me. Am I
Very
audible?
very
Okay. Good evening, guys. How are you doing?
Great. Good evening.
Today around 2:30 p.m. I was eating my lunch. I was inside, and then there is this girl I work with. She was outside. She was on the
I
shed.
don't know. Me, I can't hear anything. Is she speaking?
Yeah, I'm speaking. You can't hear me.
Speaking whether to tulintukurira omulungi.
I can hear. Whoever is not hearing, drop, come back, and you'll be able to hear her. Please, Sheshe, go on.
Okay. It was around 2:30 p.m. and I got outside of the shed, and I heard her talking to someone who was asking where I am. I said the owner is inside there. So when this tall guy with a sharp nose, brown, not very, very brown, but a little brown, entered the shop with his shoes, like the salon with his shoes, and he didn't greet me. I just told him, "What's up? How can I help you?" And he's like, "Get out, we want to close." And I said, "We? You and who? You want to close where?" And he said, "You'll find out." Okay. Like, I was still in shock, asking, who is he? Where is he coming from and all that? Then this madam, a bit old, she had a Swahili on her head. She was very, very, very arrogant, and she was speaking some Kinyankole. And then she was like, "Where is Nora? Where is Nora?" And I'm like, "I'm here." Not that I went to work when I'm looking. I was just looking. So I'm like, "I'm here." And she was like, "Oh, you are Nora." Like, seriously? She was like, "Are you Nora?" Yeah. I looked at her like, hey, okay. So she said, "Madam Manuel Montu, why is about to meeting? Why are you holding unlawful meetings in this place?" And I'm like, "Which meetings?" She was like, "Okay, you'll find out. Get out. I need to close." She was saying that, but she was already inside, like forcing me to get out. And then I also forced myself inside. I told her, "This is my shop. You're going to tell me why you want me out of it. And who are you? You guys are not in any uniforms. Where are you coming from?" They were not saying anything. I looked outside, they were like 10 all over. They got the things that were outside, they throw them inside. They decided, like, they started pushing us around to get out, forcing us. And I'm like, "No, please, I want to pick my keys. You're not going to lock my keys inside." And there is this boy who works with us. He is not allowed, he has gone for lunch, but his keys are here, his belongings are still here. And we're like, "No, we don't have time for this nonsense. You will tell us why you are holding unlawful meetings in this place." I'm like, "Which meetings? You guys tell me, why you? What do you want from me?" They just went and started throwing things here and there. And we're like, "What are you looking for? Get out." They got my bag, threw it for me outside. I just got outside. People were already outside there. They were shouting. Okay, they closed. As they were still closing, there's someone who came and was like, "What's going on? Why are you closing her shop? Who are you?" They were like, "Okay, just called you." I'm like, "I haven't called anyone. These people, they are my neighbors. They're supposed to know why you're throwing me outside." They just went. Like, they went and left me there. I decided, like, to take a picture. They are asking me about what? About unlawful meetings. And then they placed, that tag of that lock of KCCA. And I don't understand. That means that I am not paying my taxes, and yet I have my license. I pay for garbage. I pay for electricity. So I don't know why they closed. They just put that thing there, at KCCA, whatever, and yet they were talking about unlawful meetings. So I was so confused. I said, if they wanted a license, I had it. Why? I just crossed the road, left people there talking, and went to town. Like, I had nowhere to go. I was so scared. My heart was telling me, like, to tell people, but inside me, I'm like, what if? Like, I was so scared, very, very scared. I just went up to my daddy's place, and I'm like, when I reached him, I just started crying. Like, I cried, and was like, "What happened? What happened?" I couldn't say anything. I remember I called Mugisha. I told Mugisha. He was the first person I told, and then he called me, but I couldn't talk. I was so pissed, and I was still walking. So I was so pissed. The anger and everything couldn't let me talk. So I had to hang him off. So I went to my daddy's place. I cried. And after feeling like I'm calm, then I started receiving calls. I told some other people. They told me, "Okay, post about it." I didn't know that posting about it would bring good news. So when you guys, I didn't even know what was happening on the internet, but I was receiving calls from different people. advices and all that. I didn't know that you people were pressuring KCCA and all other authorities. So I just received a call. I was at Lubaga because I first went to the other division in the town. I showed them my license. They cross-checked and then they told me. I overheard them telling their colleagues that the license has no problems. Why did they close her? So I told myself, so these people, well, what's happening? So they called me inside and told me, you know what? We don't find anything wrong with your license. You can go to Lubaga division. I went to Lubaga division. They told me that time has gone, but there have been misinformation about your saloon, but we shall open you on Monday. We are very sorry. I said, okay. And then they said, don't make this matter big. You know what? Blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. You know, we have to, then they told me that they would have opened today, but time has gone, so blah, blah. I said, okay. As I was getting outside, of course they remained with my license. They said they are still checking out some other things, what. So, as I was getting outside of their offices, someone called me. The person I don't know because my number was everywhere maybe. So the person called me and put me direct to another call, maybe someone big in cases here. And this person told me, young girl, I am sorry. I apologize for everything. I have called everyone. You go and open. Don't make the matter big. You go and open. I beg you. And I'm like, no. Like, I can't open that thing. That seal has like things like, if I open and it's not you open for me, I'll go to prison for 6 months. He was like, no, you're not going to prison. You can open it because I've tried sending there people, but it's past time and I am out of what? I am out of Kampala. I would have come myself and open for you, but you can open. I'm begging you. I said, okay. I hanged off and then called like Agatha and other people and they told me, please don't open because it might be a trap. So as I was still, he called again and said, please, young girl, open. I apologize. Please, you can open. Come for you. If they are going to come for you, please show them this number. They will you open, remove the seal and start working. We are sorry, please. We had misinformation about your salon, but we are sorry. I'm like, okay, it's okay. So that's how it went. Maybe because of the pressure that was online. I don't know. But that's what happened.
But did you open after that second phone call?
Yeah, I called the guys at the salon and I told them to open, like to remove the seal.
And that person with the phone number, I hope you know their names because I'm thinking, I hope it's not. that is a movie. Now for me, I'm just getting to know this part of they opened your shop. Nze mbadde ndi wano nga nakuwadde manyi bangi.
Yeah, yeah, not clarifying that they opened over everything now. Yeah. I had refused, but they like this man was begging, saying I shouldn't make the matter big, open what. I said okay. I called those boys and they removed the seal and started working.
Kale, soko simbe wakati awo. Kati wo Mr. Muji Mati. Yo,
The issue is, bwe baddamu ne beesiriwaza feno nga
naye gwe
tukookinga
nze kya social media ate nkitidde. Mwakubye mundu until anyway.
nze olwafunye information baagala kundeetera buzibu.
I know bakutte wazinga okuluma. Ate nze nakisanze online natandikiddewo saabuziza ani. I just came when Madam Stella was explaining. I was like, what? Now they are targeting individuals? It was so annoying. Era natandise oyomba buli abadde around n'abuuza. Bwe ate kiki nga wayingidde omwenya. I was like, no. I've just found some shit online. Martin, get a mass.
Comrades, good evening, good morning, good afternoon.
Good morning,
guys. It's a beautiful evening. Ndi musanyufu nnyo, simanyi lwaki ebizibu bingi naye ndi musanyufu. Why am I happy? Amapesa gatandise okunyigibwa. We are happy, guys. Sheshe, Combs, before I proceed further, I would have asked you would have recorded the conversation you are having with that guy, just in case in future, like they try to act like as if they didn't have a conversation with you. So in case he calls you again or something, you just record the voice, You record the conversation for your own future reference. Guys, I was telling you I'm happy. Madawo, ngendo labe che Canada chilumye mbalya wate masayasi ebitano naye tebamunyize manja wate waliwo ambassador omulala naye wakasino nenga katonda nga akola kumukumu.
Omwana muja tuyiseemu awe ki.
Nenga God is great. God does things so fast. Awo tulaba nti tulengera victory at the end of the tunnel. Guys, Ani abadde ayogera nti simanyanga 50 years. Why would you talk about 50 years being back up? Oh, ekintu tugenda kimaliriza in a few
Ekyo just
years.
kikulaga determination nje ndiko muganda kya Uganda I have.
Tugenda kimaliriza as soon as
For
possible.
me, I want it as soon as yesterday. Now yet today, I'm with you, brother.
Era
Nangi, and this so excited. I was like, what is happening?
tuba tukubenga tukubenga bakubira Ssaabasajja Kabaka tuwongere busufu.
Wala bye byono musajja ono
mutamivu. Endi yabyo naye abo kati bali ku bunkenke tubatwala. We are now reaching the finished line. Tulenga. Yes, sir.
Pesi yaba square Onyango yabadde olabye omukulu Natif ne badde engeri gye babadde bakaaba.
By the way, guys, ako kagayi ka Natif. I don't usually want to give even what he's saying attention ever since he started speaking in tongues. I appreciate guys like Mugi who go there and put things in order. Because for me, I would just I used to respect him, but now I'm a bit disappointed.
Nanti webuzibu obwo kunatsonyiwa mujo okuba eddakiika zo
tewali buzibu sena.
If we don't confirm ekisooka golo Natif, they are in panic. We counter them.
One of you has to mute. I think Martin mutes.
We counter these guys, the Natives, with real evidence and talk, you know. Tobola about ebibuuzo ebimu ng'Onyango byamubuuzizza, Phrase byamubuuzizza, azze mu kwewozaako obuzibu kati nange abaana bange sikyabaleka kugenda ku ssomero bokka, mbateeka mu motoka, badde bantiisatiisa nfuna amasimu okuva e Bulaaya, nfuna amasimu okuva wano ewaka, bagamba lwaki nemesa bannayuganda okwerwanako.
Teri akatiisatiisa, lwaki kalimba.
I'm telling you this, ekyo kikulaga nti nno, naye kennyini ekibaasa kirabika kimulakira. Ate ng'ekibaasa kyalimu emitwalo egi 5 gye baba ne bakkanale. Omwana yagikuba ekifaananyi ebbaasa naye agireese n'agamba afune emitwalo 5 egya transport. Naye yeewozaako kati wali agalangaana n'essente za transport. Bampa buwe transport. N'agamba nga tebagyogerako 5 ne bu biscuit ne bu sweet. So these people banyiga obulimu awo akankomaawo Martin.
Let me proceed. Badde nkyabagamba tukube engalo tuwonge tukole abajjajja bonna saawa yonna ekintu tukiika tuwongedemu supu. There's a guy abadde kuno yeyita Michael manager. Oyo guy, I'm sorry, but I think Mugisha, you know him as well. Abadde kuno na space. He's like a hacker, eh?
Michael manager.
So
To me lately, I've been on a rampage of blocking any idiot.
Professor Michael manager with a skeleton face. Bulibale clashing. And so
this is some shit different.
Yeah, anyways, I was still telling you guys, man, Ugandans, oba tulina we tubadde tuweddemu amaanyi kati tuwongeremu ebigenda mu maaso mubiraba. Owe Canada abadde akuba engalo ng'alowooza nti jjajjaawe akyamutegeera eri kati bakomyawo persona non grata. Ow'ebitaano naye bamugaya etalinnyako eri wadde n'aka kati oba kati ekisikini kyanaakitwalawo eyo bakijjanjaba ekyo ekyetama. Tubadde tuli awo ate ne tuwulira ambasada omulala owa
Kasino yeetaaga kitalya.
So it's good news. It shows us that, guys, we are pressing the right buttons. In fact, we increase. The pressure has to increase. We have to use our generation that is full of every tool available at us. We want change. We want betterness for ourselves and for our country. Kati twabazuula abeefuula nti simanyanga babawanisa imperialism ate nga be bajja eri ssente tetukyayagala kumanya kati katunyige gye bajja ssente nabo bakifiiringe badde eri no, we cannot let them, man. They spoil our country. Then the other side they talanganga as if the bad.
Spoil our country. Do you know what it means to have an ambassador deported?
The first time I've heard about it, by the way. I think even if we do
Mujimati. Wengambira kigozi esaawa yonna.
I'm so happy.
We have an ambassador being deported. We have another one, a deputy ambassador with a casino in a country that has.
Mujimati. Era oba okyali awo ekitamivu kiwaddanga ne kitandika okuvaayo nga kiwolereza omubbi omulala nga bwe kigamba taata waayo nange nkwate kuba ababbi kati gwe ate osiba basibe.
Ate linda tujja kubaawo tuwulire nti owaaye wagawulidde nti kiki nti bamuddusizza nti ali wali Italy ali mu kkoma.
Gwe Sheshe, I want to thank you for being resilient. What has happened to you today, it's very unfortunate. Paganda, this is the night shift. This is how we commence. Yes, Martin.
Let me finish up. Yeah, Sheshe, stay strong. That's why I told people before. Here we are now a family. We are in different locations, we are in different places, but we became family. We care about each other. Why? It's the love for the country, the love for the motherland that has united us. That's why anything that happens to one of us affects everyone. So I want us to continue this comradeship and let it not, this should give you strength. You should just know that you got a new family that is around to fight the battles so long as we are trying to make our country better. All of us, guys, you're a brother, you're a sister to someone. Do not feel like or anything. Don't. We are here because we are in the spirit of the love for the country. The other thing I want to talk about was someone raised the issue of students. How? Because the students are controlled. Controlling. That's why I sometime back proposed, I think Mugisha, you remember that proposal where I said we should have a space for the inter-university students so that we get to bring the students on board. They bring out their issues, why probably the universities are squeezing them in different areas, and we see how we can mobilize them to join the cause. We asked for that space. I think the likes of Dr. Morgan and the good girl plan to do that in some time to come. But yeah, we are looking at the universities because now they have opened up, and we know they are silent, but now we want the students to come out and speak. So we want universities, students from Barara, from Makerere, from Chambogo, from Busitema, from Gulu, from Bishop Stewart, from everywhere. That space should be, even if we advertised it for a week, abana abo tubeetaaga. Tuli mu revolution sawa kati ya kutereza gwanga, tulongosa kibuga kasasiro mungi tukoye. Kitegeera. Actually si kibuga gwanga, tulongosa gwanga. Kasasiro atuyitiriddeko. It's time to clean up the mess. So we need everybody on board. We need everyone's opinion to come. But why are they quiet? What's the issue? Why are they being silenced? Nabo tuba motivating. We empower them to also stand up. You get? Why are their presidents quiet? But why? And then we empower them. We show them that the country is together with them. So we need them on board. And that space, I encourage us to all support it. I think bring back our people. We talked about that thing some time back. Integrate other space, so that we get to bring all sectors on board. Abasuubuzi tubalina. Abamugeto tubalina. Abana ba universities nabo babeera ne kuno spaces. The good thing. Make a sure that creating that space for them so that they also come on board. And then their leadership can find ways of mobilizing them all. Kubakati omuliro gutandise gweyongera kwe tulabina ebigenda mu maaso. Just imagine in just one day, one evening, bantu basatu bateereddwako envumbo. What does that speak? It shows you more is yet to come. So twongeremu sukali keeko twongeremu. And lastly, I'm going to end with this. We are the country, we are the future, we are the change we badly need. We are the youngest population in the world, we stand a chance. Guys, let's use our time. Our parents.
Olaze wate.
Future. Thank you.
All right, Brethren. Tusimbudde. Ndaba bagayi mu audience bawagabuwazi. Yeah. Big up on yourself, brethren. Welcome to the night shift. Tusimbudde. Ronald ogamba otya sebo kutumiddeko olubwama. Ashraf kutumiddeko sebo. How are you, brother? Nsanyuse nnyo that you're not weakened, you're not withered. We are not going anywhere. We ain't going anywhere. Twakatandika butandisi. Let's hear from Onyango. Then we shall go to Ian. Onyango ogamba otya sebo. How are you, brother?
Owa ndi bulungi muva kumpa amawulire amala agasheshe kakati waliwo omukyalo oli abadde azinira empere mu ggwanga lya banne twamusindika kola bya magezi ali mu mpere. However, I want nga bwe nabadde ku space mugi gy'abadde ayogerako ne mbagamba nti buli omu ayogera ku ssente boogera ku foreign interference ekintu kye beerabidde okwogerako bonna mu space eyo ne ku spaces nyingi is how unconventional protest eno ezatandise ne march parliament ne protest ezigigoberedde bwe ziri. Mirundi emeka gye twakafuna okwekalakaasa ba protest yo nayo nebeera ebaddewo mu ggwanga muno nga ku line y'abamatch nga kuliko omusawo kuliko omubazi kuliko journalist kuliko ne lawyer ku line yemu. That has not been a very common occurrence. Kitegeeza nti nga FK Mpanga bwe yatugamba, for the first time Ugandans are beginning to develop a uniform spinal cord. We are beginning to feel pain in a match. Oba okiwulira sheshe yakubye enduulu nanga alina ka business kange nempulira nga enduulu eyo ninga nze njikuba nesukira mu ningamba kiki nyinza okukola buli omu waali n'asituka. We feel pain uniformly and that is the only way we are changing the country. Bano batulina chief na akavuyo ke bakola buli omu everyone is pouring. One of the reasons they are trying to so much to explain is because the public outrage is uniform. Kati no fetu jibagabira kututa ne abantu abalaba live ne babagamba jibagulagula ebitu supermarket oli amulaba namugamba gwe watunze gwanga gwe. This is why they are trying to come out. Basimti balu baluza wana when they get off Twitter they get peace. But when you betray a cause, when you sabotage, not so much as betray, but sabotage a cause for the people, everyone becomes your enemy because this is to benefit the entire country. And so, njagala banaye tukimanye nti nga tubala wins zaffe tubale win y'okuba nti omulundi ogusooka we have come up with a meeting point. We said that political discussions, Dr. Mungaji, n'abalala bayinza tuya, political discussions zabeeranga mu university nga z'abayivu. Bwe zimala kuva mu university z'abayivu ne zigenda ku bimeeza by'omu katale, ng'ezo omuyivu takkizibwa kwogera, bannakyalo bakola ki? Beboogera. For the first time, ekimeeza ky'omu katale kisinkanye university discourse, tuli mu kudiscussinga language yemu. Bwe mubanga mubala wins eyo win mu ginyoma, because this is how the country changes. Ebo kiwulira, yingeri gitukyusaamu eggwanga. By merging. I'm going to speak very briefly on the issue of mbadde mwogera ku ba students. Waliwo ekintu abantu kye batwogerako kimala, one effect of corruption that people have not discussed enough. Funa twogedde ku mbeera embi buli kimu. But in terms of business and lifestyle, corruption causes a certain unnatural panic among the population. Etya. Kamba example nze ndi mubazi. Nayingira okubajja immediately after my LDC mu 2017. Bwe nyingira okubajja nzize nkuza business mpola mpola up to this time, where the business has grown considerably well with over 30 employees. So, ekibaita natural growth ya business. Omwana averi, kitaawe n'amuwa millions 5, najja atandike business yemu, n'akwata million 5, n'aziwa business yemu, ne munsuubira okubanga economy n'ebeeranga ensuubira okubanga nkopitinga n'omuntu atya. Oyo. Najja n'asetinga opposite ne business yange, n'atandika okusasula abakozi million 2, abandi badenga ku market price, abandi badde ba 800 oba million etya. Naye just because it ye kiri profit oriented, ayoza sente. Obo kiwulira. That is a very big impact on corruption. Shesha yinza okuwulira business zaabwe za saloon. Nze on a daily basis nkola displays wano mu kubajja. Naye customer asobola okujja, nakugamba njagala tandika saloon oba boutique. Nakugamba nakugamba genda opime display mu dduuka. N'otuuka mu dduuka nga yakadde kamu kitundu ku bubiri. N'opima display furniture. N'omukola ya quotation nga ya million 22. N'ateesika mu gikola gisasula. N'agisasula. Naye ng'olaba waatadde ne munyini experience ye tasobola wadde okugyayo sente zino. N'ensaasanya gy'azisaasanya nga talabika nti yakoze enkole. And that is a very big negative impact of corruption on the economy that we do not discuss. It kills other businesses that would have first natural growth to grow into resilient big businesses that would pay sufficient taxes. It kills the heart of entrepreneurs, genuine entrepreneurs who would have grown the country's economy into a blossoming, profitable economy. Njogedde mu business nze gye ntegeera oba okiwulira. Naye ne mu businesses ez'enjawulo endala oba okitegeera. Ulina okugamba mbw akola startup naye nga tagenze mu kintu kyonna najja n'atandika ne machinery wa million 15. Eyitibwa startup with no experience whatsoever. Obanga ya myaka 2 business egudde n'abakozi be yazijja mu bifo byabo nabo balesa awo hanging oba sekyo asika abantu awalanga bajuza mu business, but their mind is not profit at all. They are posturing alabike nti sente zabba zirabike nga zinga wezikola ki weziva. Obukiwulira. So those are some of the other impacts. Sente corruption uno I need to kyalese yabana ba university baninya tebakyalina budde bunya politics oba kutunulya public discourse no discussinga eggwanga girigenda, simply because these corrupt people have sent their children into campus with all these high expectations. Musajja watu mwana ayingira mu campus naye nga at least quarter ya class erimu abaana abeevuga naye nga ate bato nnyo. Buli musajja mukulu basinga naye olaba bakola ki beevuga basula ku apartment wali wandegeya nomalizanga ne expectation gy'olowooza nawe gy'olina okubeera n'owulira ng'oli bubi. So the time kiwandimaze ng'opaying attention ku bintu ebyandi ku buildings mentally okuba ng'oli muntu w'omugaso w'ofulumira essomero n'ogivaako ntandikako hustlinga, and you are hustling for things you will never get to because they are unrealistic. You cannot achieve them in a real world as a student. It takes a lot of luck, but we are not supposed to be betting on luck. This is how we kill the country. Tunuli promo abana ziva staging. I'm not saying people are not supposed to enjoy life, but in a realistic economy, it does not work. Tekiri sufficient. Museveni atukuma bwatyo nga tukola okufa. Museveni atukuma bwatyo nga abantu b'omu Kiteezi balwana bazimba ennyumba ng'ey'emuyenga. Ne bataka kufa abagamba nti tumakinge tugende ku parliament. Ne beerabira nti ennyumba y'emuyenga togenda kugibuuka bw'otyo, ojja kuba gavumenti ekyuse n'ekuwa fair taxation and fair service provision, togenda kutuukayo. So nga bwe tutunuulira ebintu bino, we need to look at the deep rooted issues. Ndi musanyufu nti tutandise okubeerako ku spaces kuno. Nali mukomera ne brother wange Ashraf, and we discussed a lot of things. He's a student, I am a bit older than him. but we discussed, we shared a lot of experience and things. He told me what he goes through at campus. I've been out of campus for quite a while. I'm still, plans to upgrade are underway. And I shared my own outside experiences with him. And it was enlightening. It sounded like we were living in two different worlds. So that is how bad corruption and the government is. And for a person like Museveni, who is used to micromanaging everything, effort yaffe eri kutopinga ku Museveni's failure to micromanage. Now them space misana nemba gamba. Museveni is at an age. Dr. Mungadi will tell you that at Museveni's age, a US tebakwa driving permit. No one in Uganda yenyini legally one way to Gina. But we expect such a man to drive the country to somewhere, to where accepting to the ground. And at this point, Museveni yaisanga ostrich. You know, ostriches have a tendency. If a predator is chasing it, chiduka. But when dukenyo nilabanga tejja kusobola outrunning a predator, ng'enoonya abantu bali omusenyu, ng'etakula ekinyanga ezikamu omutwe. But in its mind, it thinks that when it is not seeing the predator, the predator ebate kikola ki? Ebate kiraba. Museveni feels like that when he gets his stupid confidential reports, gives his stupid speeches, and he convinces his cadres who have to be convinced whether they like it or not, because they dedicated their brains to him. They sacrificed their mental well-being and their brains for the tokens that he gives. He feels he's safe, and yet he's not. How can you have 3 of your own delegates being deported back to your country in just one day? Isn't that if ukubanga ekyo si kyakuvumbika mutwe ostrich mpaye ekisinga kwekyo? This man is deluded. And even the people with him, on one of my tweets today, it's a gentleman was saying, will you be here saying Anita must resign? She's comfortably preparing for a second term. And I asked him, are you comfortable? Yes, Anita might be comfortable. But are you?
Preparing her bed in Luzira very soon.
My dear,
let her do her.
My dear, he will not get a bed. So, same question gyayimbuza omupoliisi yali yankwata ne mugamba gwe olinayo poloti gy'ogulidde omwana wo oba okumabya bugagga by'otalitukako. In such a Uganda, what are the chances that however hard you work you may get rich? Teziriiwo. This country is a failed state. It is a failing state. Kasasira atandise okutta abantu. Abaana bavuga amaato okugenda ku ssomero. Omwana avuga eryato okugenda ku ssomero. That is a failing state. Badokita beegulira giraavuzi bagenda nazo mu ddwaliro. Eggwanga libeera ligwa. Physics ali awo akulaga nti speed kwerikiririra ne bwogezako ddi bakalijja kuyita mu ngalo ligwe. Gana amagye gaatadde ku kkubo gagezaako kubaka ggwanga lireme muggwako. Naye ligenda liyitamu buyisi. So, abooluganda, as I conclude, we need to prepare for the departure of these people. That is the important part. Because their going is inevitable. It is not a question of whether, it's a question of when. It's a question of when they go, how prepared are we to take the reins and put everything back to order? And we should not forget that what we want is a better Uganda, not a change of government. We want a better Uganda. So this is the ordinary hoodwinking. Hey, bagenda kuleeta omukulu muhoozi naye njagala omulabe. Abeeraliikira kampeyini ya muhoozi nze beneebuze ekibeeraliikiriza kubanga muhoozi bw'akola ebintu ebimuwa positive publicity 5, then ng'akola ebyo 15 ebimuwa negative publicity. Basically, tasobola kukubira kusigala ku kifo kyekimu. So we're not going to take such a man for a substitute.
I always say God punished Mr. Museveni by giving him muhoozi. Kubanga gwe kubamu akafaananyi singa omwana oyo yali mugezi. Katonda Museveni oyo omulaba atufuze bubi naye musajja mugezi wadde amagezi ge agakozesezza okubeera mutemu. And all the shit he has done. But he's smart in the way you can see he played the late Andrew Kayira, holding meetings, and all the shit he did. But this kid doesn't reason at all, man. This kid, I mean, I'm sorry to call him a kid. Now, that is a big stroke on the Kambabuli. Brother Onyango, genda maso.
Bring back our people. This comes from the company you keep.
Yeah, fresh baba tujja kakana fresh baba tujja
omusajja juzi bali bamuteze bomu nga CDF mulamba Commander Land Forces bali bamutegede bomu wane Komamboga mu Mbizi. Imagine Commander Land Forces mbu ufiride ku Poko joint
lindako ani gwogamba omusajja ono
nini
ebyo
kashi Commander Defense Forces. You remember that the scare bombs, the homemade bombs that blasted in Komamboga? He was there. That is his eating place. He was the target. Because that is where I passed on a daily basis. And how you know the big man was around is there would be a battalion of officers moving around that area because the commander is there eating pork. That is it. The company you keep. Museveni has kept a company of fools in order to entrench himself in power, and his children, we should all know. So Museveni keeping idiots around him, his son idolized idiots, and he became one. And that is the biggest problem. I want to conclude there first of all and give other members something to say, because I will talk about the dysfunction of our government forever. Thank you very much, my brother.
Tugenda next shift yakatandika.
Nze kwendi nyo naye njagala kubawulira mukimanyi nti ebintu tubitwale kubanga tubiwangula.
So my sister Sheshe, just know if those people don't do as they are supposed to do, we are going to scratch their back the way they are scratching your back. Wanoteri byakwemola. What you're doing is nothing unconstitutional, so we don't expect them to be foolish. And I will keep saying that because it pissed me off very much. I think Ronald you dropped, but I would request you to request the mic, please. Katugende ku Ian, then Fresh Baba. Ian, the mic is yours.
Ane mwasiri mukya uzirwa here. Siyo lumali bulungi. Bamusiza ko munna. Ekigenda maaso mu ggwanga bwe mwakiraba. Naye kivudde ku ki? Kivudde ku muliro. So nja kusaba tongere mwongezi maanyi. Naye tulina okuba ne some facts. Naye Uganda beetaaga nnyo okusobola okutegeera okwanga okujoninga ekintu. Atandika kutegeera. Twajja kujoninga mangu, so we need fenga abagezaako okutweetinga, kuusa amaloboozi, bina abasobodde okavinga facts kukyogeza okunyura. N'okubalaga kyeki ku ground, kibamisinga, kibalakinga, lwaki bakimisinga, lwaki kapshoni mubi. Nenja kusobola kutegeeza muganda ng'onyanga avuddeko okwogera nti eggwanga teriri mu kugwa. This is only a failed state. Ekyo nsooka kireezemu. Eggwanga simanga state, eggwanga lyagwa dda. Tugezako kuzimba buzimbi. This is a failed state. No question mark, no what. Lyagwa dda. So, ngekyengeza okutegeeza okugamba kwa members n'abali kuno nti we have a lot of information nti fala banga gikozesa. Ate ejjo tuyamba okwongera okumobilizinga bannayuganda okukaminga together so kubanga tulina eddoboozi limu information ebeera etya nti gamba nti okay Samalodi ng'oluguudo baakwata miliyoni 491 okuva mu ADB bank ne bazibawa okukola Samalodi. Baakwatako miliyoni 2.4 ne baziwa contractor. Something like now 2 years back. From that time, sente zasigawo oluguudo terukolwangako, sente bazidde enfuufu ekumuuta ekuba abantu. Ezo facts wezizi everywhere oluguudo wezifuna. Mune Uganda mutegeeza tegeeza nti oluguudo sente zaafuluma ADB bank yafuna sente loan balifuna sente zaakola ki? Mune Uganda tegeeza sente zaafunika. Basi babaziya. Ezo facts vitaaga omugenti akamwese eno yawanike bando yani bomese sente zokwa mu covid zaida kula kasoli. Omusajja azido nazo maka mwese yo akamwese yani. Bategere nti yeno arena yawane Zambia, who is the owner? Mune Uganda bo arango kuweyinga na manti this will belong to this one, this will belong to this one, this one for this one. Ajoka kama kiki y'abantu bamule about 50 the owners of Kampala and other buildings and other developments around Uganda, I mean the city. Ajana kukubuka amaso ategere tingulu zimbi abana bagenda ku maato ku masomero kiteze yabadde obuki mite kibireeta nti corruption kulyangu sisi zira ku muntu mbawa ina sente ngana ka obumbi 10 nga gutole ne 10 omuntu mabira mulago kusinga almost echa ukiramba ngo bwaga likoko bakabya kati ngajja kuvunda nyeja cyonna n'omuntu mu information na kitegira mu bongo bwe from Africa ton buli gosanga ku boda stage ogenda ka mu kyalo bali mu kyalo wo family buli gosanga somesa ozo kusomesa abantu bagenda kutegeera nira mu bantu 10 ofuna ka abantu babiri wabana abaje tegeka ekintu ekyo they will go again to educate others kijja kuyamba ko kujamba ffe okwongera okakasa kitugire okunyama ne Uganda bana stand up this is the tuno kwirwanda ko kubanga obudde tewali ne butuba kama kino tugenge ko n'ensonga batumanye ebintu bingi abantu bebayinanga sente bazije mu kutuba ezimu omusoma kiko ebintu byabwe ebigenda okuyamba ngabo family zaabwe so emphasis ya fena kubira ku kintu eki kusomesa na Uganda kyomusajja ona nakino ne yakijja wano tijimwe za basenza global fund yakola mu kino gende ku timu ya senza global fund ngati gina mukomera onye ku timu ya basenza gundi ngati yakola bwati tugenda kuyamba kugwana Uganda obwongo n'okutegeera kibagezako okulwanira nabyo bizako okulwanira ojja kulaba nga abadde ina abantu 5 tuyongeje abantu 15 mu 15 abo bosomesa nabo bagenda basomesa abantu abala tujja tumutupinga numbers with the time ojja kabanga these people have nowhere to go ngata nawe yokweka ku mufungo musangayo gutovuma somesa kwamba bagamba abavuka abajenzi bava muvumi bakaba ondoge sanga alifa strategy obusenge ayinawo bajja ku TV tomukizako ku radio omugobye buli wamunga ayogere online nawo omufugi wose nako kombia sanga bizu sanga act nga obusungu bwe ayina bukajja ku online wani nga kuvuma yes ninya mutamba mu online simenye kubanga ye platform jasigaza mu Uganda waso okujja okunyumya ko ne banne asema dobozi ageri mulumako nina bya kuchawo nayogera police mukwatewo niba banyeri nayogera police kweta kugamba ne police afuka ndi police NRM majege NRM sina gene ga family ga sajinga family family ya Muzeeyi Kaguta Museveni buli kimu bakusaliyo buli kimu kijja Museveni naye for member ffe era kinsa remember alina eddoboozi alina platform erona gy'oyinza okukozesa okuwapinga eddoboozi g'abantu so tusomese nnyo abantu basobola kusomesa nnyo wano naddala mu byalo ebyo bannakibuga bano babeeramu bategeera naye mu kyalo tulina okusomesa nnyo abantu tinogamba ebimuli ebyasimbwa neeno hame tuli mu mitwalo 10 yes ate kesi sente bagiwa sente ate ezayo zakola mulimu ki hamu yagaye ebimuli kesi mbere kusabira kusabira ebimuli ate kesi mbere sabasinza okusibira ebimuli munnamu ezayo zakola mulimu ki ebintu okumi byasimbwa ahambi byaleeta nta zagenda wa okuva ku Cape Gaba Road okudda mu Yokola about basa bilioni 6 bakosako bilioni 6 ata nomenya tumanyi weziri ninga distance yo 2 kilometers 5 kuva ku round emenyo tuwano ku Cape owa nini kabakola ako munnamu sente baja buli tulina kwongera kusomesa abantu baffe tuwa information tubanyonyo jina mu maaso mu ggwanga sorry by sorry abantu bajagenda nga bavaayo nga bategeera kidina mu maaso naye mpozi concluding ensonga ya kitezi olaba kati is coming to a week government ina apology tena ngabiro oninga ensonga eno teri wantu batali abantu bagenda kwa okusaba ko ggwanga oboko abafiirwa morning oba national as the white kulibwa ko nikimu wabuli omu aplayinga kadi yako blaming ono ojakala bati tulishaja tuna usenti nese bagata usenti ubaga mati entayo kugala kasa bato ngo tega so bilioni 10 ubaga ne yayo baso kulipo base bayagala niwe kijja chikora kula mbwa abana Uganda EUC audit niwe bagala tu mwana omukwe yali wadage nakuza yenye mtoyi German katika ne example Muhoozi yagenze Rwanda ne alupo nagende Rwanda Muhoozi yakusanya Uganda Airlines ogende Rwanda vice president yakusa lugudo nga Muhoozi ni namba alimu ye andumira ne bantu bojodo omuliro ye boboso afe gwaliko abantu mukaga bagenda mu chartered plane Uganda Airlines ifite Muhoozi China chali bugwa mu CDF ni mu person ne vice president na president the position just you go to power majo wachi ne position ye bayamani yagende ku lugudo wansi you can imagine ne mukomawo ne ngo munyonyi chikulaga chi this is a family business chikwa ono bosanga balwanya business yabo alwana ku mufirako kuba ava ku defending business so nze mvagunga ngamba nganda ngimba ka people fina bali kuno mugi tulwane nnyo tusomesa ne Uganda abantu firaga ku somesa nnyo bwana bingabe gye bichitu china ku fingertips information tujina kubanye nyo bane Uganda kutegya nti ekyokanira oli yaserezo nazima hotel eno yono mutulina awo ubone kai bubote gesho ndi hotel ya gundi webuze baba tulakola bakabe bano ko bibakola bibafune sente bakabye muti basoma kyawe batasoma osekere kijja tuyambako okusoga joninga mu bozi fenna wamu nokutambulira wamu so njava gonga mbebaza net shift tutambuze kwendi wana bisizakisya nja kudandika apena lawo mukisa ogwokogerako namusizako mwenna ngoja saja good night.
Good morning Sebo obadde oti owemula yo mwebale nnyo bannange aboogeddeko those of you who still have something to say msigaleko those of you who could still wait and want to listen in drop so that we can have more listeners. Night shift yakatandika butandisi we have so much we are winning just that we have also so much we are losing so we don't have time to really set a pace where we can reflect and balance. Tugenda kujja ku mukulu Fresh Baba then tugende ku Kigongo. Fresh Baba ogamba otya Sebo ogera ko nafe
jeni muganda wange balamusizaako Basebo n'abanyabo aba night shift mwebale kubeeranga ko holding space ena bring back our people. I hope I'm audible enough.
You're very audible.
Thank you so much. Ndi musanyufu nnyo akawungezi ka leero oba amacaga naga leero kuba we are ready in the morning. First of all amawulire ga sister waffe Sheshe gasoose ne gankubamu awo. It was around evening when gafunidde nga ndaba tweet egamba nti bamuggadde. Nengezaako omucontactinga on WhatsApp call but she was not picking. And then I contacted Praise picked and told me the story. Nengamba, we are neighbors. Where she works from is not very far from where I work from. So when I heard that news, I was shocked. Nengamba, of course, this is corruption trying to fight back. Corruption egezaako kuba nti eteekawo embeera ey'okutiisatiisa. Era nengamba President, no, we shouldn't be scared of this because we knew this coming. In fact, I remembered when ndabya amawulire ago nenzijukira lumu waliwo Guy nga tukyali mukomera. Guy yaŋŋamba nti mmanyi bano bagayi kye bagenda okukola kati bagenda tandika ku trackinga business zammwe. I think he's Abel. Nti bagenda ku trackinga business zammwe balabe in case oba olinayo omusolo gwonna gw'otanawasasula biki like babeere nga beekwasa ebyo bakuggale. Nti babikolangako ne Dr. Besigye naye nga ye kyakola making sure asasudde ki emisolo so that baleme okubaako loopholes wonna we beekwasa. So when ndabye kino ekyasheshe leero, I remember that guy's words. Ningamba these people could have started the same style, trying to okunoonya bu business bw'abaana we buli babeere nga bakola ki babuggalawo, because they know that is our livelihood as now to the level they have put us. So nga kyebagezaako kola nti bateekewo okutya eriffe abavaayo ne tusitula eddoboozi lyaffe, n'abo abalala abayinza okulowoozaako okujoininga struggle nabo basobole okusitula eddoboozi lyabwe ogamba nti corruption ayina okukoma mu nsi yaffe, because like abantu abalaba ekyo nga kikolebwa ate ne babuuza ani oyo gwe bagadde nti be bali abeekalakasa. Kati omuntu oyo waba alina akatengo, of course atya naye okusituka kuba agamba olaba oyo yeekalakasa bamugadde, kitegeeza nange we nasituka bajja kunzigalawo, sijja kola kisijja beegattamu awo. Kati eyo embeera gye bagezaako okuteeka mu bantu. You know, eno regime etambulidde nnyo ku bintu nga bisatu. Etambulidde ku kuteekawo fear mu bantu, like nebateeka mu kutya nti toyina kwogera kyoyogera kyonna, toyina kukola ki because bagenda kusiba, bagenda kutta, buli avaayo kwogera bamutta, buli avaayo kwogera bamutwala kusemayi ne bamutokyalinga ne bamugyamu enjala. Like ye embeera gye batutaddemu nti Ugandans they are so fearful because of the fear they have inflicted in us. So like bagezaako okuteekawo embeera ng'eyo. So me I tried to console my heart. Nebananga abalaba enjogeddeko ne mbagamba kintu kye kimu, ne mbagamba nti bano abasajja bakozesa ebintu ebyo okuteekawo fear. First of all bakozesa inflicting fear in the population. Ekyokulala bateekawo embeera y'okwavuwaza bana Uganda. Like when they make you poor, you become very vulnerable. Like nga kyebaagala kye bakola because you're poor. That's why you see them when it comes to campaign period, bajja ne t-shirt byabwe ne sabuni, like such things, because they know people are very desperate, mostly in the villages. Omuntu omuwa just omunnyo gw'olukumi awuliranga gwe Katonda omusavings, omuwa t-shirt kya yero awuliranga omwambazza talina kirala kyakubanja. So batukuumidde mu mbeera eyo nti wakutya, then ekintu ekirala ne bateekawo propaganda. That's why you've been seeing all these propagandas ever since we went on the streets. Ne baleeta, you know, these people, these youths who are going on streets, they are sponsored by foreign countries, they are sponsored by LGBT, like, bateka all propaganda, because bamanyi nti eddoboozi erisituse teribangawo. It was a very big precedent we set when we went to the streets, because they had never expected it to happen. Kubanga bateekawo fear nga we bazze bakikola ne bakanga ne batiisatiisa kuba bamanyi Ugandans are very fearful. So wetwagenda, it was a different image around the world. Nebagamba nti these people are very serious. And I know they have sat in several meetings because of that. And they are seeing it not stopping now. They are seeing it just starting. So I know where they are not settled. But I'm so happy okuwulira nti our sister bamaze ne bamugula oluvannyuma lwakuba nti tusene tusitula amaloboozi gaffe ne tubaleekaanira. I think oba mugye yagambye nti bano bawulira baleekaanira. So we tubaleekaanidde ne bagamba why omuwala katumugule Kerere asusse buli wamukerere ne bamugula. We are happy for that. Naye nze kyenina bagamba nti ffe abagenda ku street n'abalala bakyagendako, we don't fear anymore, because embeera gye batuyisizaamu etuleetedde okuguma emitima, okukaluba emitima. Omusajja omu omugezi yagamba nti when the going gets tough, the tough must get going, especially when leaders become misleaders, mentors become tormentors, freedom fighters become dictators, freedom of expression becomes the target of suppression, and opposition becomes the opposition. So, bino byonna weebiri kati. Freedom fighters becoming dictators, ebyo byo tubiraba weebiri. Freedom of speech being suppressed, that's the order of the day. Inti leaders, they are now misleaders, ebyo byonna tubiraba right now. So, nga munanga ave waggulu agambye nti we are already in a failed state. Era ebyo byonna bibawo mu failed state. Nti state kasite bange egudde, y'olaba amagye nga ge gakola buli kimu right now, poliisi eriwo nga kifaananyi. Kuba amagye gateekinga over. Buli wamu olabawo magye. Ekyo kikulaga the fear they have, and the state has failed. So they have to put you on gun points all the time everywhere, so that they put fear in you, muleme okubaako kye mukola oba kye mwogera. Naye I'm happy nti Uganda this time, they are not suffocated like ever. This time bavuddeyo bagamba enough is enough. Ekijja kijje, naye tulina ositula eddoboozi lyaffe. Oba mu ngeri ki naye tulina okukola ki okwerwanako. Era nabadde mpuliriza speeches z'abantu abamu ababadde ku lumbe lwa Mwami Tamale mirundi. Nawuliddeko ku speech ya Bajjo, ne mpulirako ne speech ya mwami omulala bamuyita Gideon Tugume. abawuliddeko ku speech ezo ndowooza mwawulidde abasajja nga bawanda omuliro, abasajja nga olabira ddala nga bannayuganda baweddemu kali akatengo ke babadde batuteekamu nga bakubira ddala point okitegeera. So ekyo kikulaga level nti abantu buli woba oppressinga batuuka ekiseera nga tebakyatya. Kuba kati ffe abamu batubuuza naye mwagenda mutya ku street ku mundu ezo zonna ze baali badeployinze ku biki. Nze abamu mbagamba mundu kati zaafuuka mmere ya leero. Wofuluma mu nyumba woti weetooloola olaba mundu. Uli wodda wonna ku street mundu njereere. Kati we are used to mundu because everywhere waliwo mundu, basirikale uliwamu mundu. So emundu tekikyali kintu kitiisa. Amaje galina kubeera mu barakisi na kubeera ku borders kulinda balabe, naye kati gaafuuka poliisi. Ge gabeera buli wamu, ge gali mu buli kimu, ge gakola buli kimu. So ekyo kikulaga nti they are making us used. And we are now used. Kuba kati ffe abamu tetukyatya kulaba mundu. Tetukyatya kulaba ezo tanka zaayo because we are used every time we see them. So we don't fear anymore. And ekyo tekisobola tujja ku mulamwa. Era nze nsaba busabi baganda bange nti tusigale ku mulamwa tetutya. Twebaza ne Katonda nti banaffe ababadde bakwatiddwa yesterday mu kwekalakaasa leero babawadde police bond. We are happy they were not even taken to court. Because bana abantu bamanyi nti what we are doing is lawful, kiri mu mateeka, kikkirizibwa, tetulina musango. Naye just nti bo batiitiizi, kati ku butiitiizi bwabwe baagala ate babuteeke mu bannayuganda. Nti naffe batutiise bateekewo kino, bateekeko ebisangosango, batulemese okubaako kye tukola. That's why bateekawo embeera yonna. Naye I'm still happy olw'amawulire amalungi g'empulidde akawungeezi kano nga mugoogerako ambassador gwe bagobye ow'ekitiibwa bamumye visa. Nva kulaba ate Guardian naye postinze nti mutabani wa mukulu bamuneemize mu ICC nga omu ku bagundi abakulira okubuzaawo abantu n'okubatugalinga mu Uganda.
Ebyo birabye wasoko biteeke mu comment section one.
Ntaddeyo mu comment section.
What is not happening? Kena maaso.
Beberayo. Mbitaddeyo mu comment section. Omuyaye mujakalaba Guardian postinze. In fact kumukutu gwa mbirabye kumukutu gwa UK nopu oba something kwenda byaga amawulire. So amawulire malungi gachajja naye ate tetujja kubeera more excited with news. We need actions. So we are happy a little bit for that good news which is going around the world, and ekyo kikulaga nti we are on a right track and we are on a right button. So we have to keep on pressing it. Buli wetulaba bino byonna bibagezaako teekawo biki, olaba mukulu kati alumba taata we mbosiba mikwano gyange ate oli weekuba bifaananyi n'ababbi biki. Kwegamba sitaani atuuka ate ku level nti n'abamugoberera batandika okulwanagana naye ne bamugamba naye kwegamba bajja tandika okulwanagana bokka na bokka, bajja tandika okudduka. Bible egamba nti the wicked will start running even if there is no one who is chasing them. They are going to start running even if no one is chasing them. Bino tugenda biraba mbakakasa bagenda tandika kwekuba because bannayuganda bakaabye nnyo amaziga mangi. Aga amaziga tegasobola baleka kyekimma bannayuganda bakaabye, bannayuganda bafudde because of the few people abajja ne beefuula bakatonda mu nsi ne beefuula buli kimu. This is the time, and I always say that this is a revolution going around the world, not only in Uganda. So it is high time bonna abeefudde bakatonda mu nsi zonna eiza bakyuka ne badda ku kituufu ne baleka abantu nga Mukama we yagamba Falaawo nti leka abaana ba Isirayiri bagende. So nabo bwe balese bannayuganda bagende mu maaso nga bagezaako balemesa, bagezaako batta, bagezaako tusiba. I'm telling you omukono gwa Katonda gugenda bakolako. Ebyo bye bange Mukama abankuumire era musule bulungi.
Ffe tukyaliwo ssebo gwe sula bulungi. Thank you very much brother Fresh Baba. Tukwagala nnyo era we thank you for always being here. Night shift ogibeerako nnyo ate gwe omu ku baganda baffe ayayimirira ku mazima ne gakutwala mu nkomyo, you know, and you came out strongly. Guys, we have a lot of good news. Sija balimba, we have a lot of good news, but the issue here is we are not excited. We are not excited. Mwabalowooza abali wano nti we are excited. We are not excited. Our people in Kitezi have died. You know, we are seeing Muhoozi calling Odrek Lwabwogo. Is it Odrek Lwabwogo, the biggest thief? What a joke. Kati Muhoozi is the biggest beneficiary of this thuggery. Naye omulaba naye yekaza ayogerako awo. You know, this guy needs to sit down his big ass. You know, he needs to fucking sit down. Taina byatugamba. Olaba tugoba kitaawe kati yayasama biki. This is rubbish, man. Anyway, Odrek Lwabwogo, guys, on the other hand, is not a clean man. What dirty business zakola that we cannot talk about because we are a bit civilized people. But it is something to do with organ trade. So when I see this kind of talk on Twitter, I'm not even impressed. Neither am I bothered. Neither am I angered. You know, it's just typical nonsense. They could even be playing, you know, on our heads. Yazeyo na akwata kuchupa na anywa ako. But otherwise, we shall not be diverted. Because Anita Among is powerful in Uganda. Let's agree. Because they have tried to take us from saying Anita must resign. They have done all sorts of things. All sorts of things. I'm someone who doesn't even need accountability. I will only ask for accountability when Anita is gone. Everything that I do in this fight against corruption, I hold myself accountable. Every little contribution I do, let it be financial or my time or to be here talking when I'm supposed to be resting, it's because I feel I'm motivated personally. I feel I have been resting for a purpose. Most of you have been on spaces, maybe hosting or sharing. Me have been just listening in, reading what is happening. One thing I want to share with you guys, I saw people who are so concerned. They are telling others to listen to others and help financially. But these are people who did not protest. These are people who may not even have contributed. Then they are so concerned. I was like, if we try to help in whichever way, but let's reach in our DMs. Some things I think we are doing too much if we are not being paid, you know. But I saw a few days elements that are really being paid to frustrate our efforts to fight corruption. And that is how strong we are. We are winning. And everything is happening in the right time. Chitezi, it's very unfortunate how people have died. But it has happened at this time. At this particular time. So that is something that should even push us further to stop the corrupt people. I think, where is he? Oh my God, my bro, Chigongo, I think you dropped. Oh, you're here. Chigongo, please take over the mic.
Thank you so much, my brother on the Ugandan. Today, my information is like a bitter pill to swallow. So if you're here, gekukute koli, tighten your belt. Na hilo liwamkisa. So, first of all, I'll start with this statement by William Adama. There is a reason you separate military and the police. One fights the enemies of the state, the other serves and protects the people. When the military becomes both, then the enemies of the state tend to become the people. So I want to tell you Ugandans that what you call UPDF is privately owned by Museveni, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, and the Salim Saleh. I first learned about their exporting of our troops to Somalia around 2004. And whenever our troops could die from Somalia, they would bring them back and bury them at our village. Those who know Semuto Kapeka. And so, but as I gained interest because my father is a veteran, he used to go to the barracks and what. So I got a chance to see the graveyard or the cemetery for our troops. By then it was almost like 20 acres, okay, and almost half of it was covered by the graves of our troops. But even the way they would bury them, okay, no sima, no space, no kolachi, in lines. And so I wondered, why would these people keep sending our troops to die in Somalia? What interest do they have there? And it was today that you saw Mr. Muhoozi Kainerugaba demanding United States $100 billion for the job of mercenary well done by Uganda People's Defense Forces. And so Ugandans allowed me to submit because I went back to my archives to fully understand who rules us and who controls us and who is in charge of Uganda as it is. We are no longer in charge of this country. And it's so unfortunate that some of our fellow Ugandans still think that politics does not concern them. It's really unfortunate. This is a very sad time. We are in, it is sad. It's a sad story to tell, but I got to know about this information way back. And I went back into my archives to look into some of this information. And this is some of the information I brought for you to fully find out who really controls Uganda, and who is their servant. Okay. We are not even their servant. Okay. We are somewhere else. I think we are slaves. Okay. The likes of these Anita Mong, the Jessica Lupo, all the other, the Nabanjas, those are servants. Okay. But we are slaves in our own country. And then I learned about this group, this small group of people who have taken control of each and every resource in our country, whether natural resource or government property. And the leadership is as follows. The chairman of this group is called Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and his vice chairperson is Sam Kahamba Kutesa. This Sam Kahamba Kutesa one time even called himself the president, the external president, meaning that he's the one that leads Uganda abroad. Okay, so that's why he was a minister for foreign affairs for such a long time. Okay, and after Sam Kahamba Kutesa, we have the general secretary of this group called Janet Kainembabazi Museveni. And the assistant general secretary is Moria Simu. I'm pretty sure some of you have heard about these names. The secretary of internal affairs is Karibu Akandwanaho Salim Saleh. And secretary for external affairs is Violet Kajubiri. Secretary for children affairs is Natasha Museveni. And secretary for social affairs is Chris Kajala. The secretary for security was the late Eli Tumwine, who was substituted by Tumukunde. The deputy secretary for security is Sabit Muzei, and the secretary for investment and youth wing is Odreka Rabogo, who also serves as Museveni's son-in-law because he's the husband to Patience Museveni, who leads a certain church in Kansanga. Fellow Ugandans, the secretary for investment of this group is and the corporate wing is Patrick Mitatule, and the secretary for overseas investments is John Kazola. Secretary for local investment is Leite Kankunda, or Sokotreta, and secretary for political affairs is John Kashakamba. The head of membership committee is Mole Kamkama, and head of welfare is Aren Kanjina. Deputy for welfare is Celeste Lukolungu, and the head of local contracts is John Nasasira. Head of committee for social responsibility and philanthropy is Kainogaba Mohozi, and head for innovations is George William Kiriho. The head for quest ideas is Francis Turiamuijuka, and head for supervisory committee is Chris Wakakamba. The head for education and culture is Professor Turiamuika. And these are the business monopolies of these people. All government contracts are owned by these dynasties I've talked about. All supplies to operation wealth creation are owned by these people. All gold fracking permits are under Museveni. All milk exportations to other countries from Uganda are owned by Museveni. All fish exportation in Uganda, be it like Victoria, Choga, and all others, under Museveni. All flour exportations are owned by Museveni and Janet Kataha Museveni, including Damen Orange. All dams, railway, and pipelines that are functioning are owned by Museveni. All road constructions are owned by Museveni and Janet Museveni, managed by Irene Kajina. Umeme is owned by Museveni, Janet, and Moz Kainograba. Gold mining, Museveni and Janet Museveni. Confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, bro. Go on. Bianako. Kenamasu.
Tiles manufacturing is owned by Museveni and Salim Saleh, including Goodwill Tiles in Kapeka. Uganda Airlines is privately owned by Sam Kutesa, including Air Cargo Corporation and the airport itself, with some few shares from Museveni. The vehicle assembling at Kira Motors is owned by Sam Kahamba Kutesa. The transport for UN, especially United Nations High Commission for Refugees and World Food Program, is owned by Sam Kutesa. But all the charges that are charged on Ugandan refugees in terms of contributions from United Nations are owned by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The water transportation is owned by Sam Kahamba Kutesa, and air transport is all owned by Sam Kahamba Kutesa. The government motor vehicle procurement, that's the one responsible for buying government vehicles, is owned by Sam Kahamba Kutesa. Mobile money itself is a company independent from either MTN and Airtel, and is owned by Sam Kahamba Kutesa and Salim Saleh. Salim Saleh owning Airtel and Sam Kutesa owning the part of MTN. All petroleum reserves are owned by Akandwanaho Salim Saleh. All petroleum imports to Uganda are owned by Salim Saleh. All Bajaj motorcycles and spares owned by Salim Saleh. And Eskom company is owned by Kutesa and Saleh and Kataha, Uganda. UEDCL, which is also an electricity company, is owned by Muhoozi Kainerugaba. All petroleum products are owned by Muhoozi Kainerugaba, and all tires are owned by Muhoozi Kainerugaba and Kalugire. Uganda medical stores are owned by Muhoozi and Diana Museveni. And if somebody challenges this information I'm giving you, they'll come me on board and tell me that I'm lying. Okay. Yes, gold refining is owned by Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Raboga and Kalugire. And the same son of Museveni, who terrorized the people of Karamoja in order to evict them from their land and extract gold. You remember that story. All Tiger Head batteries, Kalugire. All beef exportation, including organ transplant and exploitation, that is Odrek Rabogo, who is the husband to Patience Museveni, the daughter of Museveni, and Janet Kataha Museveni. All airtime services are owned by Charles Mbire. And the mobile money is coordinated by Bitature and Janet on behalf of Museveni and Janet Museveni. The BC Empire has businesses that look like privately owned, but in actual sense, when you go back behind curtains, they are owned by the same people. YK Museveni, or Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, owns 46% of Shudi's wealth in Uganda and East Africa, and even South Africa and other countries. 72% of Karima Haji's wealth belongs to Museveni, with 10% left for Janet Kataha Museveni. 44% of all Bukwano's wealth belongs to Museveni. 67% of Bidiko's wealth belongs to Museveni. 49% of Samona, who is the owner of Samona Products and Samona Buildings, belongs to Museveni. 82% of Quality Chemicals belongs to Museveni. 70% of Aya Groups belongs to Museveni. 100% of J&M Hotel belongs to both Museveni and Janet Kataha Museveni. 13% of Exim Bank shares belongs to Museveni, which totals to $8.63 billion. 41% of Kachira Sugar Works belongs to Museveni. Pearl Dairy Farms Limited and Fresh Dairy belongs to Museveni. GBK group of companies belong to Museveni. And 66% of Mandela's wealth, this one who passed on recently, belongs to Salim Saleh, including City Oils and Cafe Javas. Mistral Hotel belongs to Sam Kutesa and Salim Saleh. All Kapeka industry companies belongs to Salim Saleh. 48% of Tata Motors belongs to Salim Saleh. 62% of Chinyala Sugar belongs to Salim Saleh. Manson's Uganda Limited belongs to Salim Saleh. 66% of State Oil belongs to Salim Saleh. 38% of EcoBank belongs to Salim Saleh. Mogas Oils belongs to Salim Saleh. Heritage Coffee Company Limited belongs to Salim Saleh. 46% plus 20% of Movit Investments belongs to Salim Saleh and Muhoozi Kainerugaba. 42% of Olma Divani's wealth belongs to Janet Kataha Museveni. 61% of Patrick Latuli's wealth belongs to Janet Kataha Museveni. 71% of Bluefields Limited belongs to Janet Kataha Museveni. 65% of Saja Balava's wealth belongs to Janet Kataha Museveni. 80% of Simba Telecom belongs to Janet Kataha Museveni. Garden City belongs to Janet Kataha Museveni. Golf Course Kampala Hotel and the golf courses grounds belong to Janet Kataha Museveni. And Central Lawrence University and Central Schools belongs to Janet Kataha Museveni. Protea Hotels, East Africa and South Africa belongs to Janet and Bitature at 50% each. Akamwes Hotels belongs to Salim Saleh and Hope Mwesige. Sam Kahamba Kutesa owns Air Cargo Corporation of Uganda. 37% of ShopLite then belong to Museveni, to Sam Kutesa. 91% of Victoria Motors belongs to Sam Kutesa. Mistral Hotels belong to Sam Kutesa. Oasis Mall belongs to Sam Kutesa. Pioneer Transporters belong to Sam Kutesa. Logical Technical Solutions belongs to Sam Kutesa. 66% of Ham Chigundu's wealth and Haruna Segawa combined belongs to Muhoozi Kainerugaba, inclusive of all investments in Uganda, UK, US, and South Africa. 68% of John Bosco's wealth belongs to Muhoozi Kainerugaba, including Freedom City, or who you call Savannah. Savannah. 77% of Eagle Air belongs to Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Skyjet Airline belongs to Muhoozi. And Orange Telecom also belongs to Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Kampala Jet Suppliers, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. BPC Chemicals Limited, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. 41% of Aponye's wealth belongs to Muhoozi, including Mega Standard Supermarkets, with some shares for Salim Saleh, Aponye. 80% of Harris International belongs to Muhoozi Kainerugaba and Audrey Rwabogo. Acacia Mall belongs to Muhoozi and Kagame with 50% shares each. Audrey Rwabogo owns 83% of AutoCare. 65% of TransLink Uganda Limited belongs to Audrey and Patience. 80% of Harris International affiliate companies belong to Audrey and Muhoozi. Vehicle and equipment leasing belongs to Audrey Rwabogo. Futuring Technologies belongs to Audrey Rwabogo. Fair Industries, Audrey Rwabogo. Taigong Plastics, Audrey Rwabogo. GM Security, Audrey Rwabogo. Canada Uganda Recruitment Agency, Audrey Rwabogo. Zin Electronics, Audrey Rwabogo and Sam Kutesa. Elite Computers Limited, Audrey Rwabogo and Frank Tumwebas at 50% each. Sangobe Estates belongs to Zaire. 50% of Toyota Uganda belongs to Zaire. Shell and Coal Limited, Zaire. Cargo International Limited in Zaire. Match Tools and Equipment in Zaire and Nasasira. 55% of Drake Lwega's wealth belongs to Natasha Museveni and Kalujire.